in people on what I was kind of referring to as well, people, in that there's a lot of uncertainty, and I indirectly said it about Arteta and his contract will kind of clear up uncertainties. There's uncertainty at Arsenal Football Club, anyways. People, make sure you're hitting the like button. But I just feel there's a lot, and one has to wonder on the eve of the summer. Last summer it was impossible to do everything we wanted to do, and it just seems like there's even more stuff to do in the summer. This is before we even talk about bringing people, and one has to wonder how much a new manager in Arteta, who's new to the job, much less dealing with the transfer side now as a manager as well, Edu, who's new to his role, and an absent owner, how much can really be done, really and truly. So yeah, people, and like I said, from October to now, and I say now, I mean more like end of the season, May, we should be looking for a minimum a backup left back, for me a right back, because I want to see confirmation over it. And a centre mid minimum / cam. And again, obviously, I forgot to throw his name in here, but I said right back, and it made me think. I think Bellerin's contracted until 2023 or 2022. I don't actually know. I have to check, but there's still nonetheless uncertainty over his future. For me, I say this because the minute it became clear that you could not bring in that creative man to be partnered with Partey, the minimum we should be doing is looking for targets. So that's what I meant from October to now. This is the minimum. You might need a keeper and you might need to bring in another cam, depending on what happens with Matt Ryan. Now, I think we're going to get him permanently, but I don't know what's going to happen there. Or what happens with Odegaard, whether you buy him permanently, Madrid say have him for another year, a full season, or they say, you know what, he's coming back. Are you going to then, are you ready to react? Again, Xhaka, he's probably don't need to start business in the summer, but again, I've made a previous video about this. He's playing all the time. He's played 90 minutes in the last 12 games or something. I saw a stat on Twitter. He's a key player. He's a key to the team in Arteta's eyes as Tierney and Saka. So surely, if you're Xhaka, you want some sort of confirmation, especially the age you're at. Now, David Luiz adds to it because obviously his contract's up. Lacazette well speculated. Eddie Nketiah well speculated. Guendouzi will have a year on his deal. And then they came back into the team and everyone was talking about give him a new deal and all of these sort of things. And he's revealed himself. Torreira, again, we'd all like Torreira to come back, but he's not sold on life in England, allegedly. What was all that about? Joe Willock, I think he's going to come back. But again, he's around his contracts to the same region. And is Joe going to come back and be a squad player? Is he going to be able to fight? Does he say, I don't actually want to come back? I've been given a taste of football now. What are we going to do with him? Whether he's going to stay or be sold or loaned out again, how are you going to react? Because I look at us in midfield, apart from Thomas Partey, next season, there is a lot of problems in that regards because Partey is the only one you could say is confirmed, like no speculation, and Xhaka to a degree. Maitland-Niles by the same topic as Joe Willock, something's got to be done with him. Now, are you ready to react? I think there's, especially with these young players, I would love Guendouzi, Maitland, Joe, Torreira, Guendouzi, all of these guys to stay. I'd like some of them to be loaned out and make more money. But if you say, cool, do you know what? We're going to sell them, put on a sell-on fee. They might go on and be better players, but right now we need the peas. We take that money and we buy competent options. Then in a couple of years, we might look back and say, why didn't we keep this, that, and the other? But if it helps us get towards where we were, I'm all for it. But again, I need to see a plan. Callum Chambers is bigged up all the time by Arteta. He probably will be sold on. But again, uncertainty. Bellerin, based on reports, uncertainty. So something needs to be done in that regard. So one has to wonder, how much business can you do in terms of incomings with potentially all of these sort of problems or uncertainties or question marks outgoings? In terms of staying in your squad, you can't bring people in if you don't know. You have to move people on. So you're going to have to sit down probably with all of these players and see what go on. In that regards, people, and realistically, the players that half of these, I don't think there's really a player, not too many. Like, who would you say you under no circumstances could be sold? My immediate bias would be Guendouzi, but again, he's got a year left. You could make a profit on the modest 7, 8 to 10 million you spent on him. I'd like to keep Maitland, but again, if you could get a decent fee, I wouldn't really want to sell Joe. I think he could be a decent squad player. I think there's a bit more development there. But again, if you could get a decent change, again, probably him. Chambers has had a long time on the injury bench, could probably get him at a cut price. Bellerin, if reports are true. Torreira, I think that's the one certainty you got to get rid of if you don't want to be here. El Nene, year left, cut price. Eddie Nketiah, you've got to make a decision. How many could find new clubs really? Especially the young players, and how we sell these players I'm going to look at as well. And again, on top of that, let's just say on top of this, how are you going to react? Because that's two spots. You're utilizing Ceballos and Odegaard. They're not our players. So how are you going to react and fill those spots at people? And I think I've put a side note here. I think Edu and Arteta, they're going to really need to earn their stripes, because I don't think we can do everything in the summer, but we're going to need to look back in the summer and feel pride. Let's not, I don't want to get twanged by bringing in Partey on the last day of the season and people get euphoric and things like that. And whatnot. So yeah. And like I said, on another side note, 2023 will be interesting because Bellerin, Xhaka, Leno, Willian, and Aubameyang contracts will run out, and so does the manager. Now, it's interesting to me because, again, you're going to have to make a decision. Bellerin's his guy. We've just spoken about the speculation. Going to have to make a decision. Xhaka's his guy. Going to have to make a decision. Leno is obviously a goalkeeper. But again, you have to assume maybe Leno might get interest from some other players. Willian, again, probably needs to be moved on. Aubameyang, you'd imagine you'd have to hope there's someone else. Fundamentally, people need to earn their stripes. So it is what it is in that regards, people. So yeah, we'll have to see. There's a hell of uncertainty at this football club, but it's why we love it, innit, people? It's why we love it. So yeah.